Hey, locker room. All right, I think I'm better now. You know, I just I talked to you guys after the Cowboys game, but I went back watched the rest of the football games and just got to woo-saw this thing. You know what I mean? Woo-saw this thing. Now tonight, of course, we'll have the Commanders and the Chiefs playing on Monday Night Football, so can't wait to watch that. But I want to go in and jump in and talk about those break out those three games that I wanted to point out. And since the Commanders are one of them, I'm going to, and they haven't played, they played tonight. I'm going to hold up on the Commanders and wait till we get those results. And I'm going to stick in a team that got its first win in the New York Jets because of how they got this win and what went down as they moved towards that victory. We saw some things and I heard some things. I saw some things on the football field, heard some things in the post presser afterwards, and most all around Justin Fields. Justin Fields was basically benched, and they were going to put in Tyrod Taylor, and then he got hurt, and Justin Fields get back in the game, and they have a hell of a comeback, and they win the game. Justin Fields threw for 244 yards, one TD, about 65% completion percentage. 0 interceptions, which he's been real good all year at protecting and taking care of the ball. But I thought, as I looked at games, that maybe he was too protective in taking care of the ball. And it kind of stunned his growth. I thought that maybe he was, I don't want to say afraid, but all the places that he's gone, Chicago and Pittsburgh, that's all they've talked to him about is protecting the ball. So now that he is a starter in New York and he wanted to make this his home, he wanted to make sure that that was the number one thing, even though they were not winning and the offense were not moving. But they got going today. They put up 39 points and they come from behind. Interesting, they put up 39 points. They won 39-38. Flacco threw for 223 yards. Of course, Jamar Chase was his main target, 12 for 91 yards. Jamar Chase is such a beast. But this game was more about the Jets. Breece Hall was killing it. 133 yards running. Breece Hall is phenomenal back. But the important thing I thought to pull out in this game was that, even in the post presser, I heard Justin Fields talking about crying on his closet floor, going through something this past week as he prayed to God, and he got an opportunity. Justin Fields saw this, I'm sure, today as his last opportunity because the owner over in the Jets, with the Jets, have been talking about Justin Fields, the quarterback, and he hasn't been saying nice things. And whenever the owner starts saying your name and calling you out, then things are really getting bad. And you can just consider you will not be back on that football team. But Justin Fields today made enough plays, and the Jets made enough plays to get their first win. I was so happy for Aaron Glenn to get his first win, to feel that his first win as a head coach. And he came up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who thought that, now we are pretty much on a run. We should run through the Jets after beating the Steelers last week. You remember Joe Flacco, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and what they did. They just went off and beat the Steelers. I thought the Jets would be a pushover for them to keep on pushing and getting closer and closer to possibly getting back sometime in a couple weeks Joe Burrow and try to make a run. You're using Joe Flacco to keep this thing afloat till Joe Burrow gets back. And that's the kind of game you expected the Bengals to win and not lose. But the Bengals, they have a lot of the same problems I said to you guys. I was talking to you guys earlier about my Dallas Cowboys. I mean, this defense letting people move up and down the field. And the Jets today got a chance to do it. A lot of it was Breece Hall. But Justin Fields made the plays when he needed to make the plays. And I thought he had one of his best games today. And I thought I saw a lot of maturity in him in the way he handled the press conference and the way he was vulnerable and he's telling everybody, you know, that this matters to me. It matters. You remember, he was the same guy that said before, you know, listen, I'm thinking too much. I don't want to think. I just want to play this. You can't ever say that at the quarterback position. You can't ever say that at the quarterback position. And he's learned that. And now he's handling himself so much better that I hope this is the turning point that he needs for his own personal career. I don't know how things work out with the Jets, but I think he needs this kind of game that he had today and to win the kind of game that he had today for his own confidence that, yes, he can play in this league and he can play with good teams and match good teams because the Cincinnati Bengals, not a great team, but a great offense, and he matched them 39-38. He beat them 39-38. That goes a long ways in giving you confidence here and here if you're Justin Fields. But you got to be able to also continue to let the ball go. What was interesting is Garrett Wilson didn't play today. Tyler Johnson was the leading receiver with 64 yards. You know, and they still found a way to get that victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. I got to give the Jets and Aaron Glenn a props and some hey, great job. Congratulations on Aaron Glenn getting his first victory as a head coach. Jets beats the Bengals 39-38, surprising everybody in that game. I don't think anybody had the Jets winning that game. My game number 2 is the Giants-Philly, and I don't care what anybody says here. You know, you'll look at it and say, oh, Philly's, you know, they're pretty good. Without A.J. Brown today, they put up 38 points. Hurts, he only threw for 179 yards, but he threw 4 TDs. Even, you know, the quick rollout to Goddard, you know, stuff like that. Not any of the big stuff up the field like he did in the last game. And I don't know if he could, if he had to, win games back to back, just throwing the ball all over the football field. You know, today Saquon Barkley got going a little bit, which they needed. He put up 158, it's like 150 yards rushing. His best day, but then he kind of messed up his groin. So you see what I'm saying? When I told you guys, this thing is going to come down to one of those 11-6, 10-7, 12-5 teams. They're going to win everything. 10, 11, and 12 wins. You know, with the exception of Indy, Indy may be, if they can keep on this streak, they're going. Maybe the only team I say now that has a chance to do that 13, 14, or 15 win season. But no one else would do it. No one else would do it. And I don't think Philly would do it either. Philly, I'm just going to say it because that's what I always promise I will do right here in the locker room. It's the truth. Philly got away with a game today. I thought, man, that they got some The Giants got some horrific calls against them, some horrific situations against them. You got a push, and Jalen Hurts put that ball out while they were still pushing, and Thibodeau snatched that ball. That should have been a fumble. Then they come rushing in saying, well, forward progress has stopped. Nobody heard a whistle. Forward progress did not stop. And that was a clear fumble. And they gave the ball back to Philly. Of course, Philly goes in and get a score. And that thing happened quite a few times, where I just thought Philly got some great calls. Really got some great calls. I thought it was borderline cheating, to be honest with you. It just felt like they were stacked against. Well, no, I know what happened in the game. I'm not going to say that. I know what happened. The Giants only put up 20 points, but the game didn't feel like it was ever out of reach. Dart only threw for 193, right? But what they did this time to Dart, since they found out that he has such mobility and he's great moving on the run, making plays, the last time they played him in a lot of man coverage. So Dart was able to move, run out, buy time, get first downs, and throw the ball to open players because it's man coverage. And it's so hard to cover that long if you got a quarterback running around for 7-8 seconds if you're in man coverage. But what Philly did today was say, okay, let's see if he's making these steps. Let's play more zone, not man. And they played a lot of zone where everybody's eyes stayed on Jason and stayed on Dart. So now Dart's scrambling around. He's looking. He's not now. Who's ever coming open? They're trying to come open in a zone where everybody's sitting in their zone areas looking at the quarterback, as opposed to having their backs turned to the quarterback, covering their man for 7 to 8 seconds, which is impossible. Great job by Philly, saying let's change it up. Now for Dart, he has to get back in the drawing room and say, how do I beat this? When a team says we're going to sit back and keep our eyes on him and play him this way. Let me tell you, young Dart, this is where you got great athletic ability and a great arm and a great leg, so it helps you win post plays. That's why you make them 7-8 second plays, because you can move around and buy time. But in order to perfect your game, what you have to do to prevent people from doing what the Eagles did to you today is you got to learn that pre-snap game. So now the pre-snap game, as soon as you see this zone, you already got an idea of where you're going with this ball, and then snap, quick hitters. While everybody's dropping out in the zone, take them 4 yards, take them 5 yards, take those 3 yards, take those 5 yards, take those. You see, then when you're taking them and you're dumping them off, then everybody comes up. They come up and play tighter. Then you'll get the opportunities to make the plays up the field. But right now, what they did to the young Dart was say, let's see if you can play small ball. And he couldn't do it today. And the Philadelphia Eagles walked away with a big victory. Big victory. They wanted that. They came in looking forward to getting that victory because they know 2 weeks ago the Giants had beaten them. Let me say this too, guys. Everybody, I want you to please take your time, man. Take some time and send up a prayer for Scatterboo. Cam Scatterboo, who dislocated his ankle today. And I mean, it was an ugly injury. The ankle got caught up under him and kind of just snapped. It was pointing. His body was north-south. His foot was east-west. It was ugly, you know. And all I could think about was, wow, what a year he was having. He was the talk of the town in New York. And then I started thinking about the New York team. Cam Scatterboo out, Malik Neighbors out. These are major injuries to their major players because that's their triplets right there. Dart, Scatterboo, and Neighbors, that's their triplet. So yeah, I to have Scatterboo and Neighbors coming back off major surgeries for next year, wow, that's going to be rough to navigate. I just don't know who's going to navigate it. Is it going to be Coach DeBull, or are they going to see enough success or growth in Dart to say, let's keep this coach and give him one more year so he can help to keep developing Dart in this process that he is in as he gains progress. Now, or do they say, let's go in another direction and get us somebody fresh and bring in somebody new and with the focus being on taking Dart to the next level. That's going to be the key for the New York Giants this offseason. But if Scatterboo can get back to some kind of health and you get Malik Neighbors back, you have absolutely found your quarterback in Dart. And I love the camaraderie that he and Scatterboo have. And I'm sure when Neighbors get back, they'll all blend that in real well. Now, for the Philadelphia Eagles, I want to see what happens with this. They put up 38 points, of course. So they did all of this without the loud noise of A.J. Brown. He did not play today. He had some hamstring issues, and he did not play. And they put up 38 points. The problem with that is when you let teams see that, okay, you're playing without me, and you can still put up 38 points, then they're going to start wondering why we paying you $35 million. You know what I'm saying? Can we win without you? And for AJ, since there's so much always circulating around him, I think that you got to be careful here. You got to be careful here. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. Now, even though Saquon went down, I got to give your boy Bisbee credit. He jumped in and he still rushed for 104 yards. So they looked like they were finding their groove back on the run game so they can find a base again. I don't think Philly will be Philadelphia if their base and primary becomes the passing game. I don't think Philly can be the championship Philadelphia Eagles if like Jalen Hurts said last week, we really don't have an identity and don't need one. I don't think that's true. Your identity must be you're a run-first team that can throw. You don't want to be a throw-first team that can run. You want to be a run-first team that can throw. That's the difference. When you have a Jalen Hurts at quarterback, you want to use his legs. You want to use that run game. You want to use the strength. Him, Saquon Barkley, all of them squatting 1 million pounds apiece. You want to use that in the run game. And then add on when you're gashing and gutting people like Saquon and Bigsby can do, then put everybody in the box and you get one-on-one coverage outside. Jalen Hurts then does damage. But watch all this Eagle stuff with Saquon Barkley getting hurt, and with them winning without A.J. Brown, because now A.J. Brown starts talking, everybody can say, hey, man, we come on, man. We're going to get you out of here now. We can win without you. So I'm just saying that's going to be worth watching as we move forward. I don't know, the Giants, I just feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for how things have worked out for them this year here with all the injuries. Now, the last game I want to talk about is that Green Bay Steelers game. Green Bay did it their way and came back and took this thing in the fourth quarter. Green Bay won 35-25. But that fourth quarter, now, we can talk about a couple things, right? You talk, for one thing, you talk about, okay, what is this offense doing for Pittsburgh? When you look at this offense, the Pittsburgh offense put up 6 points in the fourth quarter. That's not what Mike Tomlin has Aaron Rodgers there for. To put up 6 points in the fourth quarter? Wow, this great defense that you've had and Mike Tomlin has always had gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's not very good. Green Bay puts up 21 points in the fourth quarter. I'm going to tell you what I saw, man. Jordan Love goes through for 360 yards and 3 TDs. He outplays the teacher, Aaron Rodgers. I told you this was a Mr. Miyagi and Danielson fight, teacher and student. But student knocked out teacher or sensei or Mr. Miyagi. He threw for 3 TDs, but he threw for 360 yards. And what you're seeing now with Christian Watson back, that's the big guy. That's the guy that takes the ball and runs it and goes up the field. He's a great receiver, great speed. Now you start looking at Watson and Matthew Golden, and they set those guys out wide, and they will run everybody off. That's what allowed Tucker Kraft to go off on tight ends day for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's the combination I want you to watch most of the rest of the year for the Green Bay Packers. Now that Christian Watson is back, because I think he's a very good wide receiver, and he helps this team so much. He just stays injured all the time. But when with him on the field and with Golden on the field, now the tight end game gets to be fresh, because that kind of speed, you're going to be afraid to play it one-on-one. And now you bring the corners up and you're going to put the safeties out wide to stop those 2 wide receivers that are so fast. And Tucker Kraft can be real crafty in the middle of the whole football field, just beating down linebackers because the 2 speedsters got the corners and safeties out of the way. That's what I'm talking about. Watch it the rest of the year to see what they do and to see if Jordan Love can continue what he did today. Should I say if Danielson can continue to beat people like he beat Mr. Miyagi today. And Aaron Rodgers. You know Aaron Rodgers is seething. He only threw for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns. Seething. Because right now in Green Bay, they said, I told you this guy's better. Aaron Rodgers lost the battle with those numbers and then lost the war with that game, with that score. Yeah, Jordan Love got him. They were talking about it on the broadcast that Aaron Rodgers had a chance to beat all 32 teams if he'd have just beaten the Packers today. But the Packers locker room, if he had just beaten the Packers yesterday. But the Packers last night, locker room, they had a different thought going. And they showed up, showed out, and got it done. Let's watch tonight to see what happens with Marcus Mariota, Deebo Samuel coming back, Terry McLaurin coming back. Let's see if they can try to climb back in this thing by beating the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Let's talk later, locker room. God bless.